The Treasury Department announced today that stimulus checks made out to deceased taxpayers should be returned to the IRS. If the checks were sent by mail, they should be voided and mailed back to the IRS. If the payments were made via direct deposit, the taxpayer should write a check to the government and mail it in. This has been a confusing situation for thousands of taxpayers, so let's dig in and take a deeper look at this situation and how you can resolve it if it impacts you. The problem: tens of thousands of deceased taxpayers received stimulus payments. The IRS determined stimulus check eligibility based on 2018 or 2019 tax returns. There are some safeguards in place to prevent payments from being made to deceased taxpayers. For example, the Social Security Administration (SSA) maintains a death master file to track deceased individuals to prevent issuing Social Security benefits to those who have passed away. The IRS has previously used this list to help determine who not to send stimulus checks to. However, there can be gaps if the list is not up to date. The IRS has done a good job of issuing tens of millions of stimulus checks in a short period of time. But it's inevitable there will be some mistakes along the way. In previous years in which there were stimulus checks, there were tens of thousands of checks that were issued to deceased taxpayers. The IRS has not released the number of stimulus payments issued to deceased taxpayers this year. But it could potentially be a bigger problem than in previous years, since the IRS based stimulus check eligibility upon the most recent tax return they had on file, either 2018 or 2019. There have been reports of some taxpayers receiving stimulus payments even though they had passed away in 2018. The solution: the IRS wants its money back. The IRS today announced that stimulus checks issued to deceased individuals should be returned if the person died before they received their stimulus check. Married couples who received two payments should return the portion that applies to the deceased spouse. How to return your stimulus payment to the IRS. The IRS has provided instructions on its website. If you received a check by mail, if you received a stimulus payment via direct deposit, or if you have already cashed the check, families of recently deceased taxpayers should pay attention. The IRS is still issuing stimulus payments. The IRS is still processing the economic impact payments. Most direct deposits have been issued, but the IRS expects it to take months to process all the paper checks that need to be sent out. Pay attention to bank account statements and mail if you have a recently deceased family member. IRS sends stimulus checks to dead taxpayers. Do they need to be repaid? 6 reasons you haven't received your stimulus check, and steps to take next. Missing your stimulus check? 5 reasons you won't get one.